Hey everybody, it's Dave from Finish Line. We're up here in the workshop today and we're going to set up a road tire with our new tubeless tire sealant. We've been getting a lot of questions about how our sealant works on higher pressure road setups. So we're going to walk through the installation of a road tire with our sealant today and show you how it works. So I've got a typical 700C road wheel here. This is a tubeless ready rim. And we've got a Hutchinson Galactic Fusion 5 tire, 700 by 23. Make sure that if you're doing a road setup that you're not trying any funny conversion tricks and things like that with non-tubeless tires, because if you try to use a non-tubeless tire with higher pressures, the tire will stretch, you won't seal the bead, and it does run a bigger risk of blowing off the rim than with lower pressure mountain bike setups. So make sure that you have a tubeless specific tire and tubeless ready rim. So we're going to start just by installing one bead of the tire all the way around the rim. And hopefully we can do this by hand. Alright, one bead on, and then we're going to put the other bead in, starting opposite the valve stem. And we're going to finish the install at the valve stem. And the reason we're doing this is because that way the bead of the tire can seep deeper into the rim well on the other side, give us a little bit more slack to get the bead up and over the rim. So our tire is on, and now we're going to go ahead and install our sealant. So I've already taken the valve core out of the valve stem here. I'm going to take a bottle of our sealant. This is our 8-ounce bottle. And what we're going to do is just go ahead and snip our tip a little more than halfway down. That way the sealant can flow easily through. It seals if you try to push it through the regular tip. And if you cut it about halfway down, you'll find it fits nice and easy right over the top of a press valve. So in a typical tubeless road setup, we're going to install 2 to 3 ounces of sealant to establish our seal. We do have some hash marks on the back of the bottle there so you can tell how much you put in. So I'm going to squeeze some in, and we'll see how we look. And we're just around that 2-ounce mark, so that should be pretty good. And then I'm going to go ahead and reinstall the valve core. Now, one trick, if you have trouble getting your beads to seat into the side of the rim, is to leave the valve core out before you do your initial inflation. That way the air can kind of flow more quickly through the valve stem and push the sidewalls of the tire out to the edge of the rim more easily. But I'm going to put the valve core in because I'm pretty confident this is going to inflate. We've got a 2-stage pump here that I'm going to use. It's already charged up to try to seat that bead. You can use CO2 with our sealant. It won't shock. The cold temperature won't shock and ruin the sealant because there's no latex, no chemicals that are going to get messed up by that extreme cold temperature. So if all you have is a CO2, go right ahead. We're going to just try to inflate here and see how we do. Alright, so the bead popped nice and easily. We're at about 80 psi after the initial inflation. I'm going to go ahead and pop the wheel off now, give it a spin. I like to rotate the wheel on a side a little bit so we make sure that our sealant is getting onto the beads on both sides. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and inflate to our desired operating pressure. Okay. Give it one more spin. Make sure everything's well seated. See how we're doing on the pressure. All right, and we're holding steady at 90 psi. And from that point, you're pretty much ready to roll. Now, you may find some setups where the sidewalls are having a little more trouble sealing, depending on your rim and tire combination. Again, make sure that you're adhering to the manufacturer's specifications about the width of your rim and the size of tire that you're installing on it. But if you have to, leave the rim on its side a little bit and try to get the sealant to that rim. We give a range for our recommended dosage of sealant of about 2 to 3 ounces. If you're having trouble sealing with things like the sidewall or around the base of the valve stem and things like that, go ahead and lean towards the higher end of that range, the 3 ounces, just to be safe, to make sure you get that tire well sealed. So at this point, we are ready to ride, and we are going to be providing, you know, good flat protection no matter where you are. So at 90 psi, I can puncture this tire and give it one quick spin, and we're already sealed up. And after that puncture, if we were riding along, we'd now be riding at 88 psi. So confident flat protection at road pressures, instant seals of punctures because of that mechanical FiberLink seal. You're not waiting for latex to cure to seal up that tire. So if you aren't running road tubeless yet, I highly recommend it. It's a great ride feel on a clincher without the tube in there. Lower rolling resistance than a lot of tubular setups. And now with our sealant, even lower maintenance and fewer flats. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.